So great, Ayesha. Welcome to LogiTALk.
Thank you for having me.
The fifth generation of a company which is like a legacy, which I'm sure everyone knows, Jeena. So we're very happy to have you. Let me just tell you what we are trying to do with LogiTalk. It's a podcast which started as a project just by my team to let's do something different. Let's get the beautiful stories out, uh, which are there in the industry. And somehow, what we've been doing has created a great impact, not just within the industry, but people who do not know the industry are coming to understand of this industry through these podcasts. So we started off as a project, but now it has scaled up, and let's see how it goes. So the idea is very simple. It's all about the guests which are coming in. It's all about our viewers to at least have some takeaway, some inspiration. It could be a person who is coming in just in the industry as a fresher. It could be person who is probably in 30 or 35 looking at what am I supposed to do? Is this industry for me or not? So understanding that there's so much in the industry you've not yet explored. Every day is a new day in this industry for you guys. We are just from the tech side, but you guys are in the day to day of the hustle bustle. So I think that's the agenda of LogiTalk, and that's how it started. So we'll keep it conversational. It's going to be your story. I want my viewers to more about you, more about Gina, more about your leadership style, the challenges, which are plenty, I'm sure. And also, we'll delve into some fun stuff so that, they are not just, it's not a lecture or a sermon kind of a thing. So let's start.
Sure. Done. Thank you so much for having me here.
It's a pleasure. It's a
Looking
pleasure.
forward.
So let's start from the very basic. Where did you study? What did you study? Did you study logistics, or was it again not studying logistics and coming into logistics? Did you work somewhere? How did you enter the business? Just take us through that entire journey. Did you
Sure.
ever think also, will you be part of such a big company? It's always scary to take up a legacy. Everyone's eyes are on you. So just take us through that journey, how it's been.
So honestly, I never thought I would be in logistics. Gina's been with our family for 5 generations. So even as a young child coming home from school, it would very much be going to dad's office and spending the rest of my day there. But I always saw how much it took out of him in terms of the work. I've never seen my dad without his computer in front of him, be it whether we're on vacation, right, whether we're at home, anywhere, weekends, Sundays, it doesn't matter. Yeah. And I think a part of me was like, I never want to work that hard. Like, I don't want to be a part of this business. Yeah. So my undergraduate degree I did at Jeena College. Okay. I did it in psychology. Oh, wow. And I actually always had my passion in psychology. I said I'm going to go along the lines of criminal psychology to understand why people commit the crimes they do. But being the industry that it is, it wasn't very forthcoming. I would say it's a bit of a darker industry to be a part of. So I decided I won't go ahead with that path and maybe do my master's degree in marketing. Okay. Where I went to London for 2 years and I did my degree out of Imperial College in London.
That's a very, very grand college, I would say. One of the best ones, right?
Yeah, yes. It's a good college. Yes. And I did in marketing and corporate strategy over there. So for 2 years, I was based in London. After college, I actually joined one of our agents in London called Allport Cargo Services.
Interesting.
So for 6 months, I was with Allport and almost close to a year actually, 6 to 9 months I was with them. And I traveled to their offices in Uxbridge. I traveled to Tilbury, to the port. Yeah. So it was quite interesting to see what the entire landscape had, correct, like kind of penned out for me. I kind of came back from that and I decided, you know what? I've done marketing, I've done corporate strategy. My organization is 100 plus years at that time. And nobody really knows what we do. So I was like, I think this is an area I could really add value. I think something for me was that I'm not joining the family business just because my dad is there and like it's his business, you know. Yeah. I felt like unless I'm going to be able to add value, I don't really find it as exciting to me.
Correct.
So I said, let me start off with marketing. And that's kind of where my journey with Jeena started. And I joined the business in 2019.
2019. Okay.
I
So 2018, you were working in the
Yes,
UK for
yes.
almost about 8 months. You
Yes.
came back, and that must have been a very interesting experience,
Very
right?
good, yeah.
Because there you are just like everyone. Right?
Absolutely.
And no one knows the background,
Exactly.
which is good, which I'm sure it's enjoyable. And then they make you do every stuff. Right?
Exactly. You learn it from whether it's the warehouse level
Yeah.
or you're booking the shipment at, like behind the table, whatever it takes, you know.
Right.
So you're kind of really in it.
Correct.
Like I'm saying, I was at the port for almost 2 weeks at a stretch.
Right.
My boss said that. I was like, why don't you just move here? And I'm like, absolutely not. I'm not moving here. I would travel every day,
Right.
2 hours, but I don't think I'm going to move here. But yeah, it was a lovely experience. London was super exciting. And coming back to India, it was a real challenge, I would say, to kind of get people on board with the concept of marketing. It's very foreign in my family. It's the principle has always been we don't talk about the things we
Exactly,
do. We
yeah.
have to be humble, keep your head down, and do what you need to do.
But to be very honest, Aisha, the industry has been this way.
Mm-hmm.
Marketing was never a dedicated department in logistics till at least 2017 or 18, because it was always considered, if I ask someone, if I told someone that, okay, if a person who's in logistics would tell someone that I'm into logistics, the opposite person would think, acha, trucking business hai kya aapka, whether it's a trucking business. It was not that, oh, listen, we are a freight forwarder. It's a very critical aspect in the supply chain.
Absolutely.
So marketing was never part of this industry for a very long time.
Yeah.
Now I get calls from so many of my customers saying that, hey, can you help me hire someone for digital marketing? I want to redesign my website. I want to do an SEO. I want to post on Instagram. I want to post on LinkedIn. It's very different now. So marketing concept was I would say, not there in the industry as such.
Absolutely, yeah. I think sales and marketing was very as one.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, we have sales and marketing,
Correct.
but it was mainly sales.
Right.
So yeah, getting into Jeena, kind of pitching that entire idea to everybody, getting the buy-in. I would say it took about a year to 2 years before people were really like, okay, this is bringing some visibility. We can see the impact of this, because initially it's a cost, right? And they're just like, you're just burning through money right now. And what's going on? Like, where's the return on the investment that we're doing? And I think after the second year, everybody was really on board. Within the organization, I had departments and branches reaching out saying, oh, even we want to do this, and we want to have banners, and we want to attend these exhibitions and XYZ. So I think it's really heartening also to see an entire concept come together that you had visualized, and it's really going in a great direction. Like when we started in 2019, we had about 1,000 followers on LinkedIn. Today we are at over 30,000 followers. So like just building that kind of engagement and having people respond to that so well, I think it's really satisfying overall. But
how were you able to convince them? Because that's a very hard part. As you said, in your family, it was like, we don't talk about what we do. What was your pitch? How did you convince them that, listen, guys, the world needs to know what we are doing? And that is such an important aspect. Even if you're doing a small bit, or if you're doing such a big thing, and you guys are doing big movements across borders. So what was your pitch to the management? Because your family is the management.
Correct. Absolutely. So I would say something that I learned really early on in my career is that you can't really bulldoze your way with ideas, saying that this is the new way. And it's always about a bit of give and take. And something that always works without fail is data points. You give them the data to prove that the concept is working. You lay out the cost and benefit analysis, and you really convince them with data. I think that's a big win for us. At least in my organization, the way people look at it, be it at a CEO level, my COOs, my uncle's father, whoever it is, we are a very data-driven organization. The facts and the data prove, okay, makes sense. Fine, let's go ahead and do it.
Because numbers don't lie.
Exactly.
And marketing has something which is very unique, that, so sales, for example, when you, let's say, hire someone, it's a cost. And that person is going to earn revenue for you. So you can see the revenue coming.
Absolutely.
But marketing is such a thing where you can't see a transactional revenue coming. It's intangible. It's these followers. It's the outreach. Today, 100 people knew about Jeena. Tomorrow, 1,000 people. So people don't really understand that, okay, if you put in, let's say, invest in performance marketing, what kind of benefit you're going to get. But brand building has become such an important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think from the digital space compared to your newspapers, etc., which we had back in the day, your reach is so much more, right?
Yeah.
From digital, like you can reach n number of
N
people,
number of people.
and like you said, it can go viral, and you can
Yeah.
really get a whole new perspective on it.
No, and marketing has changed so bit. My team does these funny reels. It's just not about telling the world, okay, I am doing this, this, this.
Yeah.
It's not about selling on marketing. It's about connecting with the audience.
Absolutely.
I'm sure even you are focusing more on that. How can we bring in the story element and connect with the people?
Absolutely. At the end of the day, we're all humans. We
Yeah.
all connect on emotion more
Correct.
than anything, you know. Like even our business, I really believe at the end of the day is a business of relationships.
Right.
Today, any customer, at least my large customers who I deal with, they are known at a family level with my uncles and my dads, be it customers and consignees sitting abroad as well.
Correct.
That personal connect really brings out the business impact. You know, then okay, it's normal for things to go wrong every now and then, but it doesn't break the relationship because you have trust in the values and culture that these people come from. So I think that's a big win for us. So
let's focus a little more on Jeena.
Mm-hmm.
The myth, the legacy. What is Jeena? How did it start? I'm sure you know the company history very well. You told me you guys are celebrating 125th year. We'll come to that later. But what was the first year like? What was the 50th year like? Then probably 100th year you were there. You have celebrated as a child. Just help us understand what is this legacy Jeena all about. Whenever I leave the international airport, all I can see is your board. Right? So it's very evident. Funny story. I called my mom today in the morning. I had a couple of missed calls from her. I called my mom and she was like, "So what's your schedule for today?" I'm like, "I'm doing a podcast with Ayesha. She's from Jeena. You know Jeena?" She's like, "Of course I know Jeena." Imagine she's not worked in this industry. She worked in Softlink probably like in early 90s, but she knew the name. She's like GEENA with a blue color logo, right? I'm like, yes. And this really happened. So tell us, what is this legacy all about and how did it start 5 generations back, and what all the transformations have been? It's 125 years. I can't even imagine. I can't even track it back. So 1900, I'm assuming 1900. 1900. Yeah, 1900. So yeah, just explain us. So
like I mentioned in my last point with you, relationships was everything for us. So fun story in terms of Jeena. In 1900, my great three greats, I think, grandfather started the company. His name was Ayesha Katgara. And at that time, he did not have enough money to start his dream. So he went to his best friend and asked his best friend, saying, you know, can I borrow some money and I'll return it back to you, etc. He was actually our first investor.
Oh.
He gave my great grandfather $75 to start the business.
Oh.
And he told my grandfather, you don't have to pay the money back to me. Just name your company after me. And his friend's name was Jeena Bhai. So that name has
That's
stuck.
how the name is there. Yeah. Interesting.
And I think that's really a testament of what we are even today.
Yeah.
We really value our relationships, and
Correct.
that trust factor really still exists in the organization even today. So I think in 1900, when my grandfather started this entire thing, we started off more in terms of a travel agency, in terms of trying to get people to see India. He wanted people to travel the world. He wanted people to come to India and see what we are all about.
Right?
Yes, through ships.
Ships, exactly.
Through
Yeah.
ships. I would say, in the 1920s, maybe we decided to start, no, actually slightly later, 1930s, 40s, we decided to have two companies where we had Jeena and we also had the Travel Corporation of India.
Okay.
The Travel Corporation of India was then combined by the Kotak family, our family, and family. Okay. Who came together to kind of build this because everybody was in the travel industry independently. Right. We said, let's combine it and make it TCI, Travel Corporation of India, and Jeena would continue to be the cargo and freight side of things, which we kind of took off separately. Right. So we sold TCI in about 2004 after my granddad passed away.
Okay.
But that also had a whole different side of things that it brought to the company, you know.
Right.
So even though it was a separate company, it was still very much part of Gina's DNA.
Right.
And I think something that Jeena and TCI both at that time really focused on was selling India. And TCI was actually, my grandfather was the real pioneer of it.
Okay.
And he did everything he could to get people to come and see India. Be it
Right.
like chartering cruise ships. He'd actually done something really cool where Jeena had hosted something called India Fest.
Okay.
We hired a cruise ship on the River Line.
Okay. Yes.
And we filled it with all different Indian suppliers, you can say. You have textiles from Kerala, you have spices, you have leather goods, you have everything in this. And it sailed on the Rhine for 2 weeks, and people were invited on board to kind of see and understand the culture of India. And for that time, it was really a revolutionary idea.
An exhibition on the Rhine
On
in
the
a
Rhine.
cruise ship.
Exactly.
I don't think so. They do it now. They should do it now.
It's a great idea.
It's a wonderful idea.
Absolutely. And I was like, wow, that's so pioneering for that time.
And so forward thinking.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think that got a lot of like goodwill as well. Even in terms of like our association with the government, that we did this in coordination with the India government, but it was a full loss to our company overall because it was a whole cruise that we had chartered. But my granddad's like, it's not about the money. He was very passionate about India, so he's like, I want the world to see how amazing this country is.
Correct.
And from there, we kind of came to our 100th year celebration. During our 100 years, I think dad and uncles and all were pretty in the groove of the business. Even though granddad was still involved, they had started working at a very young
and
age.
energetic.
Exactly. They were in the business by the age of 16, 17. So pretty hands-on by the time the 100th year came on. And I was quite young. I remember the celebration at the party, just kind of frolicking around. And today we are at 125. I think we've come a long way in the 25 years. In the 6 years that I've been part of Jeena, I've seen the way that we've grown, whether it's in the form of technology, whether it's in the form of the size of the organizations, whether it's diversifying in terms of products that we do, the services that we offer. I think it's been a super, super journey to kind of witness. And honestly, I'm really grateful to be able to be a part of it.
And taking that cue from what your great grandfather did with the whole cruise and the on the Rhine with Indian suppliers, it was old school marketing, but it was
exactly.
You know,
absolutely.
That's exactly struck me. Like, okay, you didn't make money, but the kind of goodwill you got, the kind of awareness you were created, and the kind of brand positioning you got, tie-ups with the governments and all of those things. I'm sure that somewhere helped.
100%. So after this whole Rhine cruise ship, obviously the government knew who we were and
Correct,
all, and
exactly.
we were very happy that there was a company like this who's also wanting to promote India. And I think that time defense shipments, etc., were starting off fairly new. India was starting to export and import certain defense items. And we were actually one of the first forwarders who were elected as the only forwarder for the government to handle this. So that was another kind of feather in our cap that we saw, which indirectly came from this.
Exactly. So marketing. But it was old school,
Subtle
of course. Subtle
marketing.
marketing. But that's great. So I'm sure it's a legacy which has transformed over the years. Every year, and I think now the transformations are quicker because of tech involvement, because of people's growth, because of competition as well. You cannot just sit idle. You have to keep transforming. But what exactly has been the leadership element from your side? Because when you must have joined back in 19, it's always that tricky position that, oh, everyone is looking at me, all eyes are on me. My dad has done so much, the name in the industry. Forget dad, grandfathers have done so much, uncles, it's a family name, it's a family legacy. So what exactly happened when you joined in? How were you able to get that confidence from the team? Because that's the most important thing. And what was your style when you came into the business?
So when I entered, I truly, just a fundamental principle of mine, I truly believe that respect is earned. You can't really demand it. So when I joined initially, I was very much joined at the grassroots levels. I moved from one department to the next. I was in training for about a year, be it at the warehouses, be it at the CFS, ICDs, wherever across Bombay and Delhi. And I kind of just learned with the team, and I think that's a very important factor. I would say my real USP as such is that I'm a people's person. I get along very well with people.
Psychology. You're a psychology
Yeah,
student. Come on, you
correct.
have to be good with
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
or you know how to work with
Absolutely.
different sets of people.
Exactly, exactly. It doesn't matter your position in the organization.
Yeah.
I think it's important to just treat everybody equally and really just have the respect to understand that you're here to learn from somebody else.
Correct.
In addition to that, yeah, big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure on you.
Correct.
But I don't see it as like a pressure as such.
Imagine I am
see it-
second generation. I felt that pressure. You're fifth generation, so that's pressure into 5.
Yeah, pressure into 5. Absolutely. So I didn't really see it as like something that I have to uphold on this legacy. I saw it more in terms of the confidence that I had that okay, I can add value here.
Yeah.
We are a great company and we've come a long way, but like you rightly mentioned, we have to constantly grow, constantly adapt. And I think that's adapt is a very key word.
Yeah,
it's not the largest organizations, it's not the strongest organizations that survive, it's the ones that are the most adaptable. So today, unless you're willing to change, and it's not just for organizations, right? Even human beings as
Individuals
people,
as well.
you have to be able to adapt to change.
Open to change.
Exactly. And I think that was a very big factor in Jeena. And that really helped me with my transition is that I've had excellent mentors, extremely accommodating and open to like new ideas and new thought. Usually the fifth generation does, not fifth, any next generation, you tend to feel a little, what should I be doing here? But if you have the kind of team and support that you need to kind of have the open-mindedness to take on new ideas, I think you're really set in that way. I think that was a big, big blessing from my side in terms of just being able to. So
No, I completely second that because it happened with me as well. When you get it, you already have people who are working for your company for the last. So in my case, I had people who were working for 31 years and more than my age experience. All right. And then when you come in, you just cannot throw your weight around. That's one of the worst strategies you could do.
absolutely.
You need to build your trust with them because these people are so important. These are the pillars of the industry. And in my case, just like how you explained, it was quite lucky that everyone was very supportive. No one really thought that, okay, what is this new guy gonna come and do? But they always kept very that the corner of the eye that okay, we are looking forward to what you're gonna do. That's a difference, what you're gonna do or we are looking forward what you're gonna bring to the table are the two things. And then once you start building that trust, once you start understanding what they are contributing, how you have to get through things, I think that is the way a leadership has to
Absolutely
be built, and it needs to be ground up as you rightly said.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but it's tough.
It's tough. It is tough. I think one of the first actually projects I worked on, even before starting marketing. So something pretty much from day one that dad and uncle had told me were like, you need to be involved in the monthly MIS meetings. Even if you don't understand what's going on, just sit and kind of take in the information, ask questions, etc. And when I sat for my first MIS meeting, I'm not joking, it was about 2.5 hours per branch. Per branch.
And I know how many branches you have.
We have 27 offices. We don't look at all of the MISs. We look at maybe 6 of the key branches who we are, like the main branches. And I was like, you guys sit here for 2.5 hours staring at Excel sheets, trying to follow the columns and the numbers. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be doing this. Like, absolutely not. So I think within the first 6 months, I was like, this is going to be my first project and I'm going to change the way people are looking at data. Because
Correct.
when I came back from Imperial, even in terms of everything I studied, we had a lot of graphs, we had a lot of pie charts. It's
Yeah.
all graphical
It's
representation.
all data analytics.
Exactly.
It's BI, Tableau,
Yeah.
Superset, so many tools.
And so much easier to just look and get an
Yeah.
idea, right? When you have color coding, when you have these charts in front of you, it just gets easier.
And it's pleasing to see also.
Exactly.
You're excited to see.
Exactly. You're not like, oh my God,
Yeah.
now another Excel sheet I have to go through. So I hired somebody just under me, like I wouldn't call him a developer, but like
data visualizer.
Exactly, who could understand what I was talking about and put it into picture for me. So I think that was a really big win overall. I think people really were like, initially it faced resistance. I don't know how to read these charts and all. I'm like, don't worry, guys, it's a new concept. Change takes time. But in the long run, it's going to be really beneficial. And today we are doing each branch in about 40 minutes. For the big branches, 20 minutes for the smaller branches. That's so much productivity added. Absolutely. And it's so convenient. It's just quick question answers. It's just like everybody's prepared. Before it was like a lot of, confusion. The numbers, are the numbers correct? XYZ. Correct. But now it's just streamlined. So I think that was a big win early on in my career as such. After which, of course, marketing and the success it's got now, I think people are seeing that confidence coming in. So in these 6 years, you've aligned a lot of things, be it from data or processes. Let's just put it in processes and marketing, of course. I'm sure we have viewers who are, they might be a small company of, let's say, 5 people or 10 people. Many of these European companies are 5-10 people companies. US also. You have bigger companies in India for sure. You have bigger companies in US as well. But people they want to do marketing, but they do not understand where to start or how to go about it. What was if you have to share something, that even if someone has to start small, what all they can do, where all they can invest, let's say if they have to put in the money, what are the basics required from a freight forwarding company, from a logistics company point of view? What are the key marketing elements which they should all focus on? So I would say marketing, when you're looking at it from a company perspective, it's very important to divide it into external and internal marketing. Because even as an organization, it's a new concept, right? How do you kind of convince your people that this is what we are doing? And why do 12,000 people wake up every day to come to Jeena? It has to be more than money. It has to be a higher purpose as to why people are doing this. So I think internal marketing is a very important factor. It helps to build that culture. It helps to keep the values of ownership going all the way down to the grassroots level. And from the external marketing side, I think something that's very important is just getting your name out there initially. How do you ensure that constant top of mind recall from people and the industry around you is just to showcase what you are all about? Once people understand that, okay, we know Jeena does logistics, for example, you can delve so much deeper into what is the culture with our people, how do we kind of assess certain problems. You can talk further about case studies. So I'd say the first step would definitely be in terms of social media, just to kind of get your name out there. That's the basic start, right? Absolute basic. Maybe have a LinkedIn profile. Maybe have a Instagram works. I would say in your industry, Instagram does work to a certain level, but I would say LinkedIn by far is the best. 100%. I don't think Twitter, at least for us, hasn't worked out. Not as relevant yet. Exactly. I don't think it's as relevant yet in logistics. But LinkedIn has been a huge one for us. And even in terms, I would say don't even go for like the paid ads and the posted posts and all initially. Just ensure the consistency of posting. What is the consistency? So week, how many posts? So we do about 27 posts a month, which is pretty much every day. Yeah, exactly. Probably Sundays are left out. Exactly, literally. So the key is to constantly have that engagement with the people. You cannot have like one post going out this week, then 2 weeks break and another 3 posts going out. It doesn't work. The engagement has to be constant. Absolutely. And any tools in particular which you think a small company would be helpful? Maybe Canva, these tools? Yeah. So initially when I had started with the team, there was just me and one other girl who had started marketing. And we used to use Canva. We used to design our posts. We used to figure out, what kind of content should go out there. Correct. And I hired an external design agency who would help me kind of put things into, like I would make the Canva design, but it was a very base level design. Correct. which would then go into being much better. But yeah, Canva is a great tool to kind of utilize. There are also a lot of these, like now, as we've grown so much, we use other tools such as SEM Rush, which basically handles like social media listening tools as well in terms of what are your competitors doing.
Oh, nice.
How do they kind of, how many
SEM
posts are
Rush.
yeah,
Okay.
how do they post, how do they kind of engage with their audience, etc. So there are quite a few of these marketing tools that are there. In the last 2 years, I've fully outsourced my marketing.
Okay.
An agency handles everything for us, and they've been really good.
But,
Quite happy.
But these agencies are able to understand what industry you're part of? Because these agencies have never worked. It's a niche industry. Let's be real.
Absolutely.
There are only a few people who understand logistics, and conceptually, it is something which is very domain specific. So I'm sure you must be spending a lot of time in making these agency also understand what exactly you guys are doing. It cannot be you show a ship, you show a airplane, and have a Jeena logo. No, that's not gonna work.
Absolutely.
What the messaging has to be, what the content has to be, what exactly the target audience is. So, what is it difficult to make these agencies understand, or they understand it over time?
I think it's a lot of time and effort that goes from our side. We have a WhatsApp group and it's constantly buzzing. In terms, every post is checked by my in-house team now. I have 3 people in-house who work with me from the marketing side, and they check every post, every caption. Is the wording correct? Have we made any messaging that we don't want going out, or the tone of the messaging? Like, it is very meticulous. And in terms of the data also, it's a lot of internal communication. You speak to your HODs of the different departments. What's going on? Are there any tariff implications we should be telling our customers about? Do we make an awareness post? Something also that I realized that works really well is your thought leadership posts. So today, when you're sharing what you think and how you plan,
Important.
so important. Like, people really buy into a company where they know what the leadership is all about, right? So I think that has gained us a lot of traction as well, just kind of showcasing how we think, how we solve problems for customers. Another big one for us, for example, was case studies. Case studies, we have them on our website, of course, which people can go and access for an in-depth case study. But very often we'll do a carousel of posts just talking about one particular case study shipment that we handled, and how we had a challenge and how did we kind of overcome that challenge. So I think people are interested because at the end of the day, we're human beings. We all have the same problems, and it's always easy to just go and kind of understand that, hey, these guys have solved a problem like this in the past. Maybe I could look at a similar solution.
People are looking for content which helps them to learn. It is a very strategic change, and especially people who are there on LinkedIn are investing their time to learn something. Even if they are scrolling through their LinkedIn feed for, let's say, 10 minutes, they want to learn something, they want to have a takeaway, and content driven marketing is becoming so critical. I'm sure that case study which you're sharing might be impacting so many decision makers. You never know, probably an operations guy. So it is very critical to share these stories, and coming from the experience of Jeena, it becomes that you are much rather educating the industry as well to some extent.
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, when our projects vertical that we had, we were handling a really big shipment for Guinea in Africa. And it was actually for the Mahatma Gandhi Convention Center that Modi was going to inaugurate, etc. So our customer was like, how are we going to move this entire shipment? So in just an idea in terms of the solution that we provided, we had gone to the port in Nava Sheva. We requested them that for the next 3 to 4 months, we need a designated area in the port so that we can build the entire. It was a bauxite mining plant, also that they were making to dig, etc. To excavate bauxite. So I was like, how do we kind of put this entire shipment together? We hired a place in the port. We requested them that we need this spot for 3 to 4 months. The entire shipment was assembled there and then kind of lifted and put onto the barge loader. So just in terms of the solutions and meticulousness you need to execute something like this, 2 of our guys from Jeena flew with the shipment. I mean, went with the shipment to Africa to make sure that the offloading part goes on is all according to plan. The transportation to the final destination is also perfectly planned. So it's a lot of involvement of the team. And I think like you said, the team is really what makes the organization. They are
100%.
so dedicated. They are
100%.
so eager to like do something
Mm.
impactful where you can actually make a difference. It's so hard to see.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah, it's really motivating overall.
So you're telling me in these 125 years, it's just 6 years, Jeena has been investing in marketing, as you
Yep.
said?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, in marketing in our sense. As
Yeah.
we discussed, my grandfather had his own sense of
Correct,
marketing.
correct.
So,
100%. Yeah.
so yeah, definitely.
That must have been a dramatic change
Yeah.
within the organization because I go to these network conferences, okay, and you have these small, medium freight forwarders coming in. And I was telling you, right, I pump into your team members out there. And for the first time when that happened, this was X2 conference last year or some conference, and I met one of your colleagues. And I told him, Jeena needs to be part of these networks. Jeena is too big for this network. And there was something which interesting. He told me that it doesn't hurt even if we are that big. It doesn't hurt because this is the part of adaptation which we need to do. Here, when I'm coming to this conference, 100 other people are coming to know about Jeena. Probably everyone in India and a lot of people outside of the world know Jeena, but it's just restating that hey, we are here as well. So I'm sure that was also one of your strategy to be part of these strategic networks.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of just kind of engaging at these conferences and having people, because you have people from all different industries. I feel like the Jeena name is very well known in logistics.
Yes.
How much it's known outside of the industry is something where I would put a question mark.
Correct.
But that's also an important area to tap.
Yeah.
Like today, when you see the larger names of your multinational players, everybody knows what they do. So how do you kind of increase that visibility further? Very rightly said. So there's no harm in being there and kind of putting
Yeah,
your
it
name out
doesn't
there in
hurt.
a new forum,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, definitely exhibitions was something that we looked at engaging a lot more in. I said we don't have to be present with our logo and stall and booth at every exhibition, but even if our guys just go and engage and meet people, they learn so much more, right?
Yeah.
I think another very important factor that we had, which came in, was a shift from being very inward looking to being very outward looking. And
what's
that,
happening in the industry? Let's go out there on the ground and learn.
Exactly. Let's go out. Let's
Otherwise,
learn.
we'll be in our own cocoon and we'll think that okay, whatever we are doing is perfect. We would not know what exactly is happening in the real world, or
Absolutely.
for that matter, on ground, what is exactly happening.
Yeah. So that's a very, I think, a great shift that we've seen in the last 6 years to have this more outward looking view. And it's from across management, even like down to the grassroots levels.
Correct.
I think that's a big shift we've had.
And what is that father-daughter relationship last 6 years? Because before 6 years, you were his daughter. Now, in the last 6 years, you are an employee as well as a daughter. So, what is it, that dynamics between you and your dad?
So, honestly, I think it's been a great journey. I'm very grateful to have a man like my father to work with in Jeena. Be it something that's stressed me out operationally, personally, whether it's something with a customer, whether it's in terms of how do I handle a situation, how do I pitch a project to the rest of the management team. He's always been there to handhold me and support me. He's always given me his opinion. And I think something that really works is mutual respect between both of us and the ability to have an open conversation. Like, in no less words, when it comes to my dad's my best friend at office. Like we get along really well. We have a great relationship. It's never like, no, I don't think you should do it. It's like, oh, why don't you try and see what we come up with, and then let's take a decision together.
Correct.
So I think that accommodating nature of his, as well as just being open-minded, has really helped to like further push our relationship and our love for business.
Right? That is so important because and he knows that you're passionate and he's seeing that passion flow through things what you're doing, and that must be making it more amazing and interesting for him to okay, let me get her all the backing which she needs, and let me just help her with it. And that's such a great important thing.
So sometimes when we have discussions and debates as such, have this thing where I always tell them, I'm like, it's the prerogative of my generation
Mm.
to shatter the social constructs of your generation through conversation.
Yeah.
So don't take it personally.
Yeah.
It's just about kind of, discussing
No.
things and taking it forward.
Something similar which me and my dad follow is that we'll go in a room, but we need to come out with a decision.
Mm-hmm.
Either you convince me or get convinced, but we are leaving the room with a decision.
Absolutely.
And whatever is gonna be that decision, okay, let's play it out and let's see how did that go. And that is so important because if you're not getting enough space to bring that thought to the table, have a healthy discussion, and then come to a conclusion, then it will always be boring. That means that, okay, what new ideas I'm going to get? But it is so important that um, the people who have ran the company till now and it's in the process of having the next generation come in, be open, be a little accommodating, let them take the decision. No matter, they will, maybe 50-50 to start with, or they'll get to an 80-20 stage where 80 are right but 20 are wrong. But those wrong decisions have to happen.
Absolutely.
You cannot have the right one always.
Absolutely.
And that space has to be there. Otherwise, it will be just, okay, I'm going to just do what you're going to tell me. And that is so wrong, because then when you have to scale and you will be clueless. Okay, now you have to always wait. Okay, what should I do now? What should I do next?
Absolutely. So actually a very recent example I can give you was in terms of we are onboarding a new CRM system. And we never had a CRM system. And since I've come in, we tried to build one, we tried to integrate it, but for whatever reason, I was not being able to get my sales guys to use the system. So, okay, fast forward to this year, I was like, I think it's time we get a new CRM. Like, I'm putting my foot down. We need a CRM system, And we saw all the CRM systems in the market. We saw like your Bitrix to your Zohos to everything. And finally, we decided Salesforce. And Salesforce is not a cheap system. It's a pretty expensive system. And to convince everybody that this cost is really going to bring you that return on your investment, it was a task. But today we are fully integrated with Salesforce. We are in having workshops to make sure people are understanding how we are kind of having this shift from no CRM to CRM, from no accountability to accountability. And it's been such a good journey. And I think we're not even full-fledgedly launched, but even in the process of integration that's happening right now, you can already see the excitement of the sales team. Like, wow, I can see all my data here. And, it's just so convenient at the tap of a button. But just something like that. We went in a room, we had a discussion. There was a lot of no's, there were 2 yeses. And finally, the entire room became a yes, because we were like, guys, I know it's a cost, but it's worth it. Like, I need you all to trust me on this decision, And it worked out. It worked out really well.
No, it's that dynamic which has to be accommodating, and I think it equally is a responsibility of the next generation to make sure that you are keeping the facts and the figures in check.
Absolutely.
As you rightly said, Jeena is a very data-driven company. Similar for us. Whenever I walk into the room of my CEO, I am just talking numbers. If we do this, A happens. If we do this, B happens. If we do this, C happens. This is the data for A, this is the data for B, this is the data for C. I think we should go with B. For him, he is there just to understand and correct if something he's not seeing right. But he doesn't want to do this analysis. He wants you to present that analysis and just take a decision, and then he'll be like, okay, sure, fine, let's go ahead.
Absolutely.
Many next generation fail to understand that they do not get the backing. They have very overpowering decision makers on top of them, and that's when it starts fading off slightly. But I think that freedom to work is something which should be very important if you have to lead a business to the next level. But why didn't Jeena ever decide to go public? I'm sure you must be getting this question from a lot of people.
I think honestly, it's the passion and involvement at an ownership level. I think, like I mentioned, we were always of the mindset that we keep our head down and we do what we do. We've never had the need to go public. We've had a great life. The universe has blessed us with what we have. And we've looked at growing. We did consider, Dad and all had considered going public in the early 2000s. But for whatever reason at that time, they were like, let's not.
Right.
For me, also personally, as next gen, I feel like we could still grow further before going public.
Yeah.
And more than public, I would like to be an international company first. Having your footprint across different segments, different regions, and geographies always is a beneficial place to be.
Right.
In 2019, actually, we started our first international office in Australia.
Oh, nice.
So we have just
I
one.
didn't know that.
Just one.
Okay.
In Australia.
I was going to ask you, why is Jeena not having offices across the world? I mean, you should be having an office in the US. You should be having an office in the UK where you studied. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
One more reason for you to travel there.
Absolutely. So the business model that we've always worked on is that work with local heroes in different countries. So I would say 20 years ago, maybe even more, when dad and all were getting into the business, we were the sole Indian forwarder who handled everything for one of the largest MNCs.
Okay.
All their business was outsourced to
I
Jeena.
think I know this. Yes, of course.
So when they kind of decided to launch in India, we were like, that's 90% of our business gone overnight because they will take the volumes.
Correct.
So 3 of them kind of set out and they decided, let's go develop local heroes like Jeena in these different markets. And they spent 2-3 months just out of the country, traveling from one place to the next, going door to door, meeting these agents. There was no like digital internet to kind of figure out what they're all about, what services. So they had their briefcases with their pamphlets and they would go
people on a mission.
Exactly. So I think the 3 of them really added a lot of value there. And I think like I said, the business model was to work with local heroes.
Yes.
That kind of blossomed into an excellent relationship. And from there was no real looking back. And I think there somewhere in terms of the relationships we had built, the kind of service we were trying to provide, we didn't really see the need at that time to go international. Because we had the best guys in those countries already working with us.
Makes sense. It's an agent-driven business.
And it's a huge investment to go international. There's a lot of
Building
capital.
All of those stuff. And then you need to have one person who is a dedicated person out there.
And just to know the market, to tap into customers. It's a whole separate project to kind of do. So I don't think we were ready at that time to have that kind of investment into the international market. But come 2019, we decided to start Australia.
Why Australia?
So honestly, it happened as a whim.
Please don't tell me you like Melbourne.
No.
That's just because you decided to open the office.
There was a gentleman who worked in Jeena and he was handling the Australia trade lane as a business.
Okay.
He'd been with us for about 20 years maybe at that time. And he had his wife who was moving to Australia for work. And he was like, I have to leave and I have to go support her in this decision. So literally over lunch with my father one day, they were like, why don't you start Jeena Australia? Like, go give it a shot. See if it works, it works. But don't start it as a full-fledged office. Hire maybe 1 or 2 people.
Maybe like a branch.
Exactly. More like a sales office and you handle the operations outsourced. So that's kind of where we started our journey. It happened over lunch. There was no real strategy or thought in it. It's just like, sure, let's go give it a shot. Unfortunately, in 2021, when COVID came, we had to sever ties with this individual. And my younger brother, cousin brother, he decided I would take up this opportunity and I'll move to Australia and handle the branch over there. So since 21, he's been there trying to groom the Australian market and increase volumes through that trade lane space.
What's next on the agenda?
So I wouldn't say we are actually evaluating a lot of markets. We are looking more at the Far East, considering the amount of exports, etc. that have been China +1.
Massive.
Huge. So we are looking at the Far East more in terms of setting up maybe a smaller setup, but we have nothing really concrete as such planned. For me personally, I believe that before we go international, it's very important for you to capitalize your market share locally. Sure, we are very well known in your larger metro cities, but now with the way India is growing and the reach through your infrastructure and everything, you're not tapping into all your higher up country areas like your Ludhianas and your Indore and all of these smaller tier 2, tier 3 cities, which have so much potential to grow. So I think that is a very important factor for me personally. So I would say in the next gen, I'm very much more focused on growing India market share, while my cousin brother is very much more in expanding the international footprint.
Makes sense. So which means you don't like traveling?
Oh, I do love traveling. I love traveling. but I like to keep travel and work separate.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I am someone who cannot do that. If I'm going for work, I would go there for 2 days and be back. I have a lot of friends who are traveling for work, and they were like, okay, I'll get another extra day, maybe see the city. Funny story. I was in New York once, and I was ending my trip in New York. It's easy to get a direct flight from New York, and Air India the Great. I was on 11 a.m. flight, and it's a 16-hour flight. They delayed it by 12 and a half hours.
Oh
So
my
my
God.
11 a.m. flight suddenly became a 11:30 p.m. flight. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do in the city? Because I hate New York.
Yeah.
I don't
I'm
like.
not a fan either.
Yeah,
it's too much.
It's too much. It's dirty.
It's dirty.
It's a bad city I've ever been with. I've
Agreed.
ever been to. But then that is the first time I got an opportunity to actually. Then what I did was I went to the reception. I'm like, extend my stay, please. I cannot even use till the 4 p.m.
Yeah.
checkout because I'll have to wait.
Correct.
And then I got the chance to roam the city, see the city for the first time. Because what else am I going to do? It was a Saturday. I don't have any meetings. No one works in the US on a Saturday. But otherwise, I just cannot mix, work and travel. But hats off to people who can.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good job for that.
But what's your most favorite destination?
So
I'm sure you travel a lot.
I travel a lot. Not, I wouldn't say a lot, a decent amount. I've been traveling less now, considering the workload that's increased. But I love to travel, and I'm a very outdoorsy person. So any opportunity I get, I try to. Within India, I try to go to the mountains somewhere up north.
Nice.
Unfortunately, last 5 years, New York has been a yearly for me because my sister's has been there.
Oh, okay. She's studying there?
She was, now she's working there. So I go meet her.
That's where the next branches come.
Never know. Maybe not.
My viewers got the hint of it, where the next branch is coming.
But no, my sister doesn't work in the logistics space.
Oh,
She's
okay.
fully she does neuroscience.
Oh, wow.
So she's in another league there.
Right.
But yeah, so that's kind of where we are right now.
But what is Ayesha other than Jeena?
So in terms of my travel, in terms of what I like, I'm a very outdoorsy person. Like I mentioned, I'm a huge enthusiast for diving, deep sea diving.
Okay.
Yeah, so
where all you dived?
I've dived in Indonesia at Raja Ampat. There's a beautiful sanctuary, almost untouched. You can't really live there. You have to live on a diving boat, and you live on the boat for 10 days, and you just dive 4 to 5 times a day. It's called a liverboard. Amazing. And I'm very passionate for diving. Always told my dad, if I did not have Jeena, I would go open a dive center on an island and teach people how to dive because it's that amazing. I'm a very spiritual person overall, so I like to overall meditate. I like to go for these satsangs and stuff that happen in Rishikesh. Rishikesh is a big one as well. I try to go there at least once or twice a year. Internationally, London, second home. I've studied there, so that's a big one. The
beautiful Camden market for the food.
Yeah, absolutely. Borough Market. Yeah. Those weekend food markets are divine. Being Parsi, I'm a huge foodie, so I do love my food everywhere I go. But yeah, I think nature is a big one for me, be it diving, be it just being in the ocean. I've also learned sailing, so on the weekends I try to go to Gateway for sailing. And I take a boat out with the guy, and I'm just let's just sail around for a bit. Yeah. I'm also a bit of an adrenaline junkie, so even in terms of your skydiving, etc., I try to do that every now and then. I recently tried it, not recently, I think 3 years back in Dubai. It was over the palm? No, I did it. Over the palm. Yeah. Because they have two options. They have one over the palm and one in the desert. I'm like, I'm going to see in the desert. Let me do it on the palm because you rarely get that view. Yeah. What an experience it was. Amazing. I love adventures. I love beaches. Not a big of a mountain person, but travel has been very limited for me of late. I'm not getting that much time. Exactly. But I was going to ask you if Ayesha was not heading marketing, not having Jeena, what she would do, but then you said you might. I would open a dive center. 100%. What is that? I mean, how did you get hooked onto diving? When did it all start? So, again, this is something I share closely with my father. This is our bond. He loves it too? He loves it. He's the one who got me into it.
Next time I'm gonna mention it when I meet him at the awards, you know.
Yeah. So he's been diving since he was 17 or 18 years old, and he actually learned diving in Goa.
Okay.
He's like, we couldn't see anything. There
Right.
was nothing to see.
Tarkarli Lake in Goa.
Exactly. So he's like, but it was a great experience. And since I've been maybe 12 or 13 years old, he kind of introduced me to it back then. And since then, I don't think I've ever looked back.
Did you do it at Andaman?
Yeah, I did it at
Yeah,
Andaman.
they have a very very interesting
Excellent
program also,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So
I
there are
had a
two
friend who did
schools
that.
there. One is called Dive India and one is called Barefoot. I stayed at the Barefoot property.
Ah, correct, Barefoot, right, right.
Super.
And now that's on Ratna. What's that beach? Ratna? No, that famous beach. It's one of the 7 most beautiful
Yeah.
beaches. It's on in Andaman.
It's
They
in
do it over
Andaman,
there, right?
yeah, yeah.
Radhanagari Beach.
Radhanagari,
Yeah.
yes. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. And even the instructors and all are super good,
Right.
very friendly. So yeah, it's been great.
That's interesting. That's a different side of Ayesha. I'm sure not a lot of people know. But with this whole new generation coming in, and I'm sure you are recruiting. How many? What's the strength right now, Jeena?
We are at 1200.
1200. But I'm sure you're recruiting. There are a lot of this industry is going through a big churn rate as well. You're bringing in new people. What is? I mean, what are the okay? Leave the domain side. Let's say, okay, if you're hiring for an operations guy or if you're hiring for a sales guy, you might need some domain expertise for that particular segment. But what are the key important things from a behavioral and a energy level which you focus more on?
I think something that's very important when I hire somebody is I always ask them this question in terms of if they were not working in a corporate job, what would they do? I think it gives you interesting
Great perspective,
understanding,
right?
of what they're really all about. And I think it's important to understand that today, as long as you have the enthusiasm to learn, which is a very important, I think you should never stop learning. You can keep learning till the age of like 80, 90, 100, whatever you live till, you should never stop learning. As long as you're enthusiastic to learn, you know that you can add value. You have certain confidence in yourself, the way you present yourself, etc. I think those are more important factors to kind of look at than really the acumen of the person. Of course, business acumen is important, but today anybody can learn your business. I did not know anything in logistics when I came in, and we picked up the ropes fine, So yeah, I think that's an important factor to have.
But how are you looking at this industry for the next 5 years? Because it's challenging. Competition is simply increasing every single bit. But what exactly are you anticipating? What's going to happen to this industry in the next 5 years to come?
So I think, at least from the competition side, I think there are 3 buckets that I kind of put my competition into. We have our local Indian forwarders, you have your MNCs and your large freight forwarders, and you have your new age digital forwarders who are coming out. I think logistics as an industry, especially in India, has a huge scope to grow given the amount of investment that the government is doing. The fact that we still have so much paperwork and not aligned to the digital side of things, the scope to grow is massive. But unfortunately, until the government also starts taking these steps, there's only so much we can develop and do internally until the integration is there. Today, you need your integration with your ICE gate and your custom systems, etc., which have come a long way. Don't get me wrong; they have done a lot, and they are doing more. So I think the potential to grow is excellent, And even in terms of your digital forwarders who are coming in, I think initially I was very excited by the kind of products that they were launching. We were looking at investing also in some of these because how do you kind of help these guys also grow to add value? Absolutely. And the more I learned, though, was that these guys are not so different from us. What they offer is a digital platform, but the back end of what is happening is still very much a brick and mortar. Exactly.
It's a people-driven business. I mean, logistics is relationship, people, and domain expertise. You guys are not freight forwarders or logisticians. You guys are consultants. When someone is coming to you and saying that, hey, Aisha, I want to move my goods from, let's say, Beijing to New York, and how it's going to happen. and then you guys are helping them to
Yeah.
understand what all will be required, what's the process going to be. So I always tell, on an average, I meet like about 50, 60 freight forwarders on a weekly basis, because I represent the tech side, right? So I have a lot of customers, and this is what I get a feedback. And I always tell them that, guys, you guys are consultants. Please start calling yourself consultants, and just don't call yourself logisticians, because what you are exactly doing is consulting this shipper or maybe some other party.
Yeah.
And that's such an important role, because it's a dynamic world outside there.
So something we took on, I think a few years ago, I coined this term, which we were most excited about. And I'm like, this is what we are. And I'm like, we're not just logisticians, we're logistics architects. Because today we build
lovely.
the entire solution
I like that.
for you. Exactly. So I think that was a good kind of terminology that went around within Jeena as well. That no, we are logistics architects, and you also speak with so much more pride. Your solutions are so much more confident. I think that's a very big aspect that you've highlighted in terms of just being more than just a logistician. You're a solution provider.
Exactly.
You give so much more to that customer in terms of your value added services also. It's not just like ye le rate hai, ho
I
gaya,
know,
kind
yeah.
of thing,
And such businesses don't survive also, they might just underprice and get a business for the short term, but they cannot sustain.
Absolutely.
And with this AI coming in now, what is your take? I as a tech company, nowadays, first they used to invite my father, now they have started inviting me for these panel discussions. So everything they want, what's happening in AI? What's happening in AI? So from a tech side, I know a lot is happening, okay? And I know it's going to impact crazily. We are getting so many AI-driven automations within our systems, helping our customers. So many AI-driven analytics, which then you simply just pull out and you can do a big data analysis and do a predictive analysis for the future. So all that is happening. But from a logistic company's side, what is your take? How AI is going to impact you or your industry or your peers for that matter going forward?
So I think AI definitely is a big one. I think the buzzword is used a lot more than needed, but it's definitely heading in that direction. We are still, I feel, at a nascent stage in terms of the potential of what AI can actually do. And I think as an organization, it's very important to upskill your people, because they are also afraid that, oh, AI is going to take my job away. And that's not really what AI is.
No,
it's about enabling you.
Yeah, it's going to make
your life
more
easier.
Faster.
Exactly. So I think
productive.
It's very important, at least at an organization level, that you ensure that all the people within your organization understand what AI is about. And then how do you kind of upskill them to ensure, because today, in the next 10 years, the skill set you're going to need is going to be very different from what we've had in these last few years. So how do you kind of upskill them to utilize this AI for their benefit without really feeling threatened about it? And not only internally, but even externally, the kind of efficiency that it brings in terms of your systems processes, like you rightly mentioned, you're able to predict so much more. Today, my speed to market can increase just based on the fact that I have data from the past. I can tell my customer, based on this average rate, this is what I'm tentatively giving you. So I think there's so much potential that AI has that you can utilize it for. We're just scratching the surface.
No, I still remember when OpenAI introduced ChatGPT 3, the first one, probably like 2 years back. And everyone in logistics was typing the same question on GPT, how AI is going to impact logistics. And the results which you used to get were so shitty. I'm so sorry, but they were so shitty, because that's not gonna how AI is gonna impact the industry. First, you need to understand that there are pain points within your processes. Let's map those pain points. So that's exactly what we did as an exercise. We went to the drawing board and we mapped all these pain points collectively, from customers, hearing from our internal teams. Okay, these are the pain points. These are 7 pain points which our customers are facing. Now let's put the layer of AI on these problem statements, and let's help them cut down time on these problem statements. That is the most sustainable and most systematic way to go about AI. Many still tech companies I know, it have no clue what AI is going to do. But you have to understand that AI is not going to be something which you can see. It's going to be embedded within the systems, and it's going to help you increase the productivity. We are talking about digital employees. Digital employees which can work 24 by 7, do not take lunch breaks, do not take smoke breaks, do not go for tea breaks. They are all working 24 by 7. And that is where, very honestly, from a tech side, we are seeing AI impact the logistics industry. And not to scare anyone, but it's not too far. We are already doing many beta testing of these digital employees, which can be a document person, it could be a purchase booking person. All the repetitive tasks can be mapped on these agent AIs, which we are calling it as digital employees, and can be automated because these are all process driven. A, B, C, D. It's a process. Nothing changes in this process.
Absolutely.
And if this process could be mapped to an agent AI, it can be automated. So people will have to not just upskill, will have to complement themselves, probably learn some other skill and try to be productive in some other department or other functionality. That is how, from a tech side, I am looking at AI, and we are building those solutions. So that is exactly going to happen, and it's not too far.
Yeah, and I think another very valid point through this, just picking up from where you left off, is today by automating these repetitive tasks, you're giving the people a chance to actually think so much more than just the data entry. It allows them
100%.
to open up their horizon, think strategically, what else can they do other than this repetitive data entry task. So that's a very important factor as well.
But Ayesha, this has been great. I think we've spoken a lot about a lot of things, and I'm sure the viewers are going to have a great takeaway from that. But let us try to end it on something which is your take for the next generation who are coming in. Let's say, I'm sure you did that 6 years ago. I'm sure someone would do it this year, someone might do it next year, someone might do it 5 years later. What are the few pointers they should really follow or build it in their practice when they are coming into their family business as a next generation?
So my key learnings I'll give you.
Yeah, that will be perfect.
Terms of
what is it called? The blueprint.
Yeah. So I think something that I learned is that when you're looking into at transformation. So now my role in Jeena is the head transformation office.
Yes.
I look at in terms of how can I transform this organization to be better, in be it systems, be it processes, whichever way. I think one very important thing I learned very early on is patience. Transformation does not come overnight. It takes time. It's so important. And when we are from our generation, we're always hungry. We have that fire. We're used to instant gratification. We get what we want in that moment.
I hate slowness. I can't live without that
because
pace.
We're not used to it.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important to learn slowness and patience in your
because you have all kinds of people around
exactly. I think another key takeaway for me is to not be so focused in terms of what other people think. As long as you are driving yourself with purpose and you know what you're willing to do, it doesn't matter what people are going to say, because you'll have people who speak well about it, you'll have people who will shit on an idea about it, but as long as you're confident in what you're bringing, that's very important. And my third key takeaway, I would say, is to focus more in terms of momentum rather than perfection. Nice. Very often we focus on, I have to get the perfect outcome, especially as an owner in the next gen. You're like, I don't want to have anybody say anything wrong. It should be perfectly as I've stated. But over time, you realize everything cannot be perfect. It's about gaining the momentum and progress rather than sticking to the fact that
build fast, fail fast, and then move ahead.
Exactly. That's a big learning from my side.
That's wonderful. Beautifully put.
Thank you.
And thank you for doing this, Ayesha. I'm sure, I hope you enjoyed.
I did. Thank you so much for having me. It's been really lovely.
This was your first podcast.
My first podcast.
You aced it.
Really? Thank you.
I'm sure.
Thank you. It's been super nice talking to you. Very comfortable, just like a conversation. So,
as I told you, just imagine you're sitting with your friend.
Yeah.
Instead of coffee, imagine there's wine.
Yeah.
And just two friends talking. But great having you, great insights, and wonderful to have you part of LogiTALK.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Dan. It's lovely being here.